49 I started on the river here. I was 11 years old then. Been connected with the river ever since, really, you know. Except when I went deep sea trawling up to Hebrides in Iceland when I was a kid. Well, when I left school, 14 and a half. And then I worked on coastal craft ever since, really. Started off on the stone boat before I left school. Used to go on the stone boat, and since then I've done a lot of revampment work with stone. We've loaded thousands of tons of stone here and Minsterworth, maintaining the banks. And there's still a lot to do, but yeah, still a lot to do. Just working the Bristol Channel mainly. The new bridge, I think the design is very nice, because I worked all over the parts of the river, all different areas, and every time you look at the bridge and the sails, it's always a magnificent view, like, you know, yeah. So whoever designed it made a good job, I reckon. It's nice. Don't matter where you look at it, it's very, very nice. We was very involved with it, with the second one. We had 2.5 years working on it, digging the footings, and yeah, we excavated the footings they couldn't get to with main of them. They built a road so they could actually get to each footing, but we did the ones that they couldn't get to. There wasn't a causeway. They were islands in the middle of the river that always had water around them, so they used us to do that. But, yeah, interesting. We had our moments. We did have our moments, hadn't we? I think there's a reduction in the tide, the bore, since the new bridge had been built, because of all the piers. That's what we put it down to. It's reduce the bore up here to what it used to be. The unusual thing here is the last couple of years it sort of disappears and then it comes back, and you can have like a 10-metre tide, and the surfers are out there, they don't even know it's gone. Well, they do, they just see a change in the flow, but no wave at all, which is unusual. All the time I've lived here, this is a change that's been made, I reckon, in the last 3 years, I suppose. Other than that, you always had a bore here, like, you know, and big bores, you know, yeah. We could have a bore here 8 foot high, you know, when it was really set right. And we've had big bores in the last couple of years, but then it'll drop away. Oh, there we are. Yeah. Never got to standing up. I used to lay down and sledge it, sort of thing, like on a snowboard. Did that for a few miles, and the reason I didn't stand up is because I didn't want to lose the bore. I enjoyed it so much, just sort of laying there and letting the wave push us, like, you know. So I've never actually stood on it, like, no. There is a bore at Gatcombe. You know, the bore gets down there, and even quite a bit lower there's a bore. And I've always said to Dave Lawson, we ought to go in where it first starts. We ought to try and ride it. We're going to do that one day. I don't know. Probably dead before then, like. Yeah. Got to treat this Severn with respect, like, you know, yeah. It's very powerful, very strong tides, and bringing craft up here, yes, it's time and tide. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Well, then the wind against the tide, you've got to be careful there. You know, if you're taking small craft down that would normally ride over a wave, and here you've got very short, steep waves, and it can be very difficult for small craft, as you go through one wave and you head on into the next one. Very, very short and steep waves with the wind against the tide. Yeah, quite a few near misses, I think. Yeah, Wasn't my time to go. You learn by your mistakes. If the old boys used to tell you a story, or if I tell a story, it's normally happened to you or it's happened to somebody else. And it pays to listen to the old boys. They sort of know. Yeah. Horrible thing is, I'm becoming one of the old boys now. Somebody said the other day, said, when are you going to retire? I said, when I'm dead. I do still enjoy watching the river, working the river, and yeah, the odd jobs, which is quite nice. I think it is open to a very big tide coming, I should think. I mean, that's, you know, they've had it in the past, and with the conditions, if you have, you know, the very strong south or southwesterly winds, fresh water, low pressure, if you had the three combination, I think a lot of people could get flooded, like, yeah, and a big flood as well. I mean, Gloucester could easily get flooded, and well, parts of the river. I know they're rising. They raised the sea walls in a couple of places, but really speaking, all that's doing is penning the river, and which will make it higher in any case, you know. But you've got to have all the conditions together to develop that. Yeah, but it's bound to come. You know, I feel it's bound to come.